Hello YouTube, hello Robloxians, and welcome back to Lumberland. This is episode number 11 of Building with CBRoneK and Lumber Tycoon 2. So nothing's really changed in the base. I haven't updated anything, built anything. We are going to build some of the walls and show you guys the plank cutter that I built before, and then Code Primate kind of made one. I gave him a few ideas. He didn't like my ideas or something, I don't know, but he ended up building his own, which works out really well. It is not a bad system. Handful of things I'd like to change on mine, so none of them are perfect, but they do work. That's the important part. So what we're gonna do is take a piece of the wood that I want, and I'm going to figure out what it is that I'm going to use. So for my blueprints, not there they are, and put them down here. Okay, so I want to use the large tiles to go around the base. So we set these down however many we think we're going to build, or cut wood-wise. Oh, come on now. There we go. So we just laid out a handful of them. If you click on them, it tells you right there, wood required 14. So that's 14 units of wood. What you need to do then is come over to the side of your machine here and figure, okay, if I've got 3 units one direction and 2 units another direction, that'll give me 6 units if I cut it in a 1 unit piece, 12 units if I cut it in a 2 unit piece. So this is set up for 12 units from where it hits that pressure plate to the very end where the saw cuts down. So I need a little bit more than 2 units. So unfortunately 2.2 won't quite get me to my 7 units that I need. 2.4 will. So if I do just short or just over 7 units and I cut it with 7 units and then a secondary set, which is another 7 units, that should give me the 14 units that this machine is looking for, or those blueprints are looking for, to be able to fill them without having to scrap wood together or go over a whole bunch, anything like that. So the way this machine is set up, I've got the wood guides to try to keep it in place or in line. If I can quit riding the conveyor belt, it's going to go forward, it's going to hit that pressure plate, and it's going to activate. Saw's going to drop, and it's going to start cutting that wood at 2 units, which is actually going to give me just over 14 units. And then it kicks it back because I want to take the pressure off the pressure plate. I want the thing to drop back. And I did that simply by hooking the pressure plate to the saw line down over into a signal delay, and then I came over here to the side and I hooked them to these switches that you can make the conveyors go one way or the other. You cannot hook them directly to that. It'll tell you nil, N-I-L. So you have to go from your switch down here, or whatever electrical component you're using, up and then touch the first one, and then touch the actual connector there, right at the crosshairs, and then you can go to the next one, and it'll just keep that pattern going. Oh, and unfortunately, that fell inappropriately. So then, as you can see, once it shuts off, if it shuts off, there we go. The next one will move forward. Oh, come on, view. And it will start the activation all over again. Occasionally it does get stuck, it doesn't hold, or it'll move, and it just ends up being weird. So on some servers you do have to babysit it a little bit, but this works out great because it takes the pressure off, and usually with the way it cuts, it drops right off of there afterwards. Not all the time, it's not 100%, but it usually works out. I know for sure the 1 unit, 3 units long but 1 unit tall, works out really well for me. See, I gotta babysit it every now and again. But other than that, this is not a bad system. It cuts them the way that I want them. Yep, there it went. Perfect. That was a wonderful demonstration. And then, we can start the next one. And this actually makes it so you're constantly doing something. It's 90% automated, meaning it's hands off. It does its own thing within reason, which makes it really nice if you are trying to get a bunch of stuff done in a short period of time. Instead of sitting there constantly babysitting it, you just literally feed it and go. See, and this piece is going to goober it up, so we got to pull that thing out of there. This one is not going to be enough, I don't think. See, 70%. So now we go over here to the end of the chopper where our stuff was. Any one of these that came off of that setup should be more than enough to fill it. Let's see. No questions asked. Done. Now, the one thing I do want to try to figure out is how to set up a long plank cutter to this system where it'll move forward. It'll cut it for 10 units, move it forward, put it into the sawmill for me. After it exits the sawmill, it will activate accordingly. So similar to what I have outside. So out here, I'm going to throw my piece of wood on there, and it's going to go to 10 units. It'll chop it, then it'll send it through a sawmill. After it sends it through the sawmill, it'll come out here and it'll stop at 10 units. So sometimes you put 10 units in and you get like 90 units coming out. Well, what I wanted to do is stop it at about 10 units, but it can't be until after it comes out of the sawmill. And then it stops it, it chops it, it rolls it back again. So the first unit goes, the tail unit stays behind and waits, and then it continues to do that. And then it comes into this machine and goes through this cycle and then gets kicked out the end in unit sizes that we need. That is my ideal automation for this. Will I be able to get it done? I don't know. But I already have so much on the outside that's automated. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. I didn't think that one was gonna be enough. So you do got to make a slag pile every now and again. It happens. Like this one I think was a slag. And go. 74. Oh, see, babysitting. Bump. Done. Babysitting over. So what I did do is, if I can get this one into the machine from an angle, is chopped up a bunch of the wood that I already got. They were longer than 10 units. That's a hard piece. Into large chunks, so that way I can show you what it does with a bigger piece, and we can just continue to move forward, not really having to tinker with it too much. See, it drops. Now if I had a truck there, it would load it right into the truck, then you can drive it to wherever you want. Blink. Oh, that one's more than enough. Okay, come out of there. So let's see, do we have any other slags? We don't. Let's throw this one up there. Plunk. Is that? Yep. Alright, let's chop down this one. So unfortunately, I do not have the cost of what it was to make that thing. I thought both ends were coming at me. I do not have the cost of what it was to make it, but I am trying to figure out what it would cost to make the whole unit that I wanted to make. That did not work. All right. And what I mean by the whole unit is the automation where it goes, chops it down, puts it into the next system. There's a little bit of a space, it chops it down to the next one, and it just kind of keeps going that way. Unfortunately, the wood separator idea would not really work with it unless you knew, like, I want to use the snow biome wood to make this, or I want to use this to make that. Without knowing that, you don't know exactly how many units you want to make anything out of. And then the worst part about this whole thing, using this unit machine, is you have to adjust things every now and again. So you see that I've got 14 unit pieces here for whenever I want to build these little tiles like this. But what if I wanted to make this? So I gotta make sure this thing does not get near something. So the tile piece is 14 units. This thing is going to be about 35 units. So it's a whole lot different. Yep, 35 units of wood. So how could you make that on the system? Well, it's actually really simple. If you don't do math very well, you can open up a calculator. Oh, I just got a message from the Chad 702. Do I get anything if I sub? I don't give stuff like that away. Sorry. So if you go 3 times 2 will equal 6. So that's 2 units tall, 3 units long. And then you've got 35 units to fill this thing. So if you take 35, divide it by 6, you end up with 5.8. So roughly 6 units long is what it takes for this thing to get filled up. So we can adjust that by doing 2.6 times 3. So that's maxing out both of them, which gives you 7.8. Then you take 35, divide that by 7.8, and you'll end up with 4.48 units. So it's roughly 4.5 units that way that you would have to move this pressure plate back. It's already set at 2, so you would do another 2. Unfortunately, doing that makes the saw chopper unstable, and it will not function properly if you do it that way. So you can do it with multiples, you can do it with that one big chunk, totally up to you. But the way I look at it is I do it with the 4, and I will set up the drop or the hatches the way I did before, where they're underneath of it to kind of catch it, because the hatches are roughly 4 units. So this small piece is a 2 by 2 piece. So if I set this up there, you can see it covers about half of it. There's there's the other half of it covered. So the hatches are roughly 4 units in length. So if you put those there, and then you can extend out or shorten down it a little bit, so that way you got your extra 5th unit. But the hatches being there stabilize it so the chopper can come down, cut it, and then when everything's said and done, you can drop the hatches, the wood falls out and goes forward, much like on the other build that I did out here. It's the only way I can get through there. Okay. Just like this one here, how it comes out and it drops. It hits that, delays, these things drop, then the wood continues up the conveyor accordingly. That is the idea that you could use for this if you needed to, if you wanted to use the longer pieces. Another option is, of course, just put it on the ground and make it one like this, where you have to flip the switch and do everything on your own. Kind of takes away the automation part of it, but totally up to you and the way you want to do it. So that's just a new little feature that I've got. I'm getting messages galore on my stuff here on my computer. So if you guys are interested in making it, I can actually do the full-fledged build on it if you want me to. Code Primates had the saw and everything else up in the air, and it's not a bad build. Not something I would have thrown into my system just because you got to throw it way up in the air. But it's a good idea. It'd just be nicer to have it on the ground. There we go. That cut it short. So you'll see I just threw in a 10 unit piece. This one's a little bit short, and it's definitely going to be over 10 units long. We'll throw it into the measurer or measuring piece over there in the corner once this one comes out. But all of these are approximately 10 units. And once they come out over there, they're definitely no longer 10 units. Let's see. Chinchinka. It's about 11 units now. It's a little bit over. So if I activated this, so that's what I added to it by putting it through the machine and knocking it the way I did to this setting. Then now, oh, come on. It'll go through that. And unfortunately, because of the color of the wood and the color of the wall, you really can't tell the difference between what is what. That's okay. You guys get the idea in the way this thing works. I do believe that that would be the end of this little segment video. The next thing that I hope to have done is I want to get all of these tile pieces up there, just like that one. I'm going to try to get my light system in place between it, and then hopefully we'll have a roof done, and then we got to figure out how we want to do the flooring. The sinister wood, spook wood, whatever you want to call that goofy wood over there is what I'm going to use for like my bedroom or a man cave or something like that is going to be made out of this for the floors. I don't think I have enough to do the entire living room, I guess you could call it, or the whole downstairs. That's the only reason why I'm not doing the bottom part in that same stuff. And it takes quite a few tiles to fill it. So, I don't know, I might make it into an accent wall, something. We will see. If you have any ideas for it, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think I should do with it. Make it into something awesome. So, with that being said, I'm going to run out here to the front. Please don't forget, share this with your friends. We have 100 subscriber giveaway coming up, and I'm really debating on running over, grabbing some of the newer presents and throwing them in here just because we can. I do have some of them hidden away, but so 100 subscribers, we have a potential of getting any one of these 6 boxes if you are one of the chosen. Or you can play the Plunko game, which I think I might modify this a little bit. But in wherever the ball lands on whatever gift down here, that is what you potentially will get. It is super easy. You just take this little ball, hold it in place, and then let her go, see where she goes, and that would have been a n times x. So 100 subscribers, that's what we're shooting for. I think we're in the 70s right now. I haven't looked quite yet, but it is an option once we get the proper number of people to be able to do that. Also, don't forget, if you guys want to start a random game night with me on Xbox One, leave your gamer tag, the game you want to play, except for that Roblox dance party or high school dance or whatever it is, because that game is completely inappropriate for what we do. I really do enjoy playing the hide and seek extreme and the blocks hunt. Those are fun, especially when you get a bunch of people that are respectful to each other on here, and it's just a big game. It's a blast. So please subscribe, comment, share, and if you like the videos, give it a thumbs up. Have a good night, YouTube. Have a good night, Robloxians. Thank you for watching.